I think
Yeah.
every time I go, because I'm hitting you up like, hey, I need a report.
Well, you fish in Port Sulphur is the whole reason I even knew who you are, Frank. And just from seeing your reports on Facebook back when it was LAFB inshore. First of all, your report writing is incredible. So that's what kind of got me reading all your reports. But then, of course, going with it, you had a lot of really good trips. And of course, you would post the bad ones too. So that's why I was always starting, interested in seeing what you had to say.
Yeah, I think it's important to post the good and the bad. I don't have a lot of bad trips. I don't think any of them were really bad. I could probably count on two fingers the number of times I've been skunked down there in the last 5-6 years. But it's important to post about those rough days and why you didn't catch fish versus the days when you go out there and just whack the shit out of them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and one of the things I really like about your reports is like, if you've read one of Frank's reports, you know it, because he's like, the word of the day is.
Yes, like, man. People, I bet you get that a lot. The word of the day guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, a couple of people have mentioned to me before, they're like, oh, you're the guy who writes those really long reports. So yeah, that's me. I don't leave out any detail, that's for sure. But I like them to have a theme. I don't know if that comes from like writing. Like I had to write a lot for graduate school, so I'm used to writing long-winded shit. But I like doing it, and I think it's fun to do it, and it helps me to remember. And so this is another thing that I probably learned from one of those other podcasts, probably from Speckled Truth or one of those, where somebody said that they journal all of their fishing days. Well, what better way to journal is write a fishing report that's absolutely thorough. Like I remember everything by doing that. And also what it does is the same way I used to study for tests. If I play it back in my mind a million times and then I write it all down too, then I'm going to remember it. And so it's like permanently logged into my memory banks, like conditions and stuff like that. So
yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I mean, me and Nathan, we both write pretty detailed reports, nothing like you. So I think we can definitely appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, the thing I like about your reports too is like the way you write them, you're not really covering the exact spots where you are, but like if you fish down there, you know exactly what he's talking about. He's like, I stop at a place that I usually stop at. It's like, okay, I know what that is. And then like based on like the next place that you go, like I'm fishing a rock, abutment, it's like, okay, I know where that is. Like if you give like the old school directions, like you're going to go down the street and take a left, then you're going to see a house that's got one door, it's like, if you know, you know. And like
you know.
Well, so I do that on purpose, and that's because I don't want to just be the guy who gives out spots. I mean, I can, and I've done it. If you read my reports enough, you'll know exactly where all the spots where I fish are, because if you've read it enough, like this only matches this spot. And those spots, and I was thinking about this earlier. So I do fish spots, but I don't want to just fish spots. The spots that I fish are the spots that I am confident that almost always hold fish. So if I'm there, it's because I know I'm trying to find the fish and I know they're going to be there. But what I'm really trying to do is impress upon people that you can fish that condition. Yeah. If you have fished the condition where it's a bayou spilling onto an oyster bed, or fish the condition where there's a giant flat with a north wind pushing through a pipeline canal. There are 50 of those scenarios in Port Sulphur. You can find your own, and it's probably going to produce similarly, based on those conditions. Fish it with the tide, fish it with how the wind and the weather, it's important. So it's all about condition.
So speaking of conditions, when you're targeting big trout, what conditions are you looking for?